In this lecture, I will explain you a few very basic things about typography, and I will help you to select a font for your presentation. Welcome back in the course. We are close to finishing up this section, and I want to go now into selecting a nice font for our entire presentation. We will be starting to create the presentation soon, and we need to decide how we want the presentation to look. Basically, we will need two fonts, one for all the titles and subtitles, and one font for the generic text on the presentation. So there are, as always, wonderful resources for that. Let me just show you what are the two basic types of font. We have serif fonts and we have non-serif, also called sans serif fonts. This is the very basic of typography, and this is very nice shown here. So the serif fonts doesn't have those little s called serifs. So for this presentation and overall for current design, I rather recommend you to use sans serif fonts. And you can simply go through the web. There are wonderful lists of great fonts to use, for example 50 best free fonts to use in logo design, and so on. We could, for example, use this font for the title, or even this font for the titles, and a smaller font for the normal text. I've went through those fonts, of course, already, and for our presentation we'll go a little bit simpler, and you may already have this font on your system. I will use Open Sans. Open Sans is a very well-known font. It always looks great and it has many styles to choose from. So we will have one from those fonts for our titles and one for our subtitles. For this lesson, I would like to give you the task of choosing your own two fonts. Not every font is working in PowerPoint, but download a few fonts, install them, and check if they are visible in PowerPoint. And if they are, please use it for the entire presentation. I saw, for example, this Campton. This would be a perfect font for our titles. It's big, it's bold, and very nicely readable. So this is one of the nice fonts. You can simply go over all the list. So we only need to choose two. The most important thing to remember is that the font will reinforce the overall style and mood of your presentation. So be sure to match. If you want to do, for example, a retro presentation, this would be a nice font to use. As we already see, it has some old school flavor into it. And this goes for all the rest. If you would like to design some posters, the font alone can really decide how your presentation is looking. If you would go for a technological presentation, you could use this Tesla font. It's really custom made and really interesting, and the font itself gives so much style that you won't be needing much more on a presentation like that. This is all I have to say about font choice. Now go over the internet and choose two fonts which you will be using on our presentation while we will be creating it. You can also, of course, use Open Sans like I will do for the entire presentation. I hope these few basics on font choice will help you and you will search some custom fonts. So thank you for listening to this lesson. We are almost done with this section, and I already believe that some groundwork is done, some foundations are set, and we are closer and closer to being ready to create the presentation on our own. So thank you for your time and see you in the next lesson.